Just before 8 o'clock yesterday morning, Sunday morning, we received a call, Tangipahoa Sheriff's Office, of um, a large tarp that was rolled up on the side of the road. The responding deputy, upon arrival, discovered that there was a deceased white male inside of that tarp. As a result, our detectives were called out, as well as the coroner's office from Tangipaho Parish. Also, the Louisiana State Police Crime Lab was called out. Um, that scene was obviously cordoned off, and it was processed as a homicide. And we started from there and worked our way out. It was fairly obvious to us that the homicide didn't occur here. It's a very rural area, kind of desolate, and it was a dump site. So we processed the scene. Coroner's office took possession of the deceased. We were able yesterday evening to identify him positively, and as a result, we um, started doing all the pieces, all the investigation that we needed to do, whether it was a registered vehicle that was belonged to him or any cell phone that may have been registered to him, to try to start doing the investigation, actually tracing down um, what led to him being on the side of that rural highway here in Tangipahoa Parish.
And what is his age and name, if you can say that for the record?
So his name is William Nicholas Abraham, and he is 69 years old. And it's my understanding he's a resident of Baton Rouge.
And do we have a DOB for him?
I do not have a specific DOB personally.
Okay. Because we wanted to, if we could, verify that he is a mental health therapist in Baton Rouge. Can you verify that for us?
That is my understanding, just from conversations that I've had, and so yes.
And are you familiar with any charges that he previously had from 2015?
Sure. Yeah, I've seen news reports of that as well.
And you can confirm that that is the same person, right? Who was allegedly accused in
Yes,
those?
that's the same individual.
Okay, perfect. Could you go over a little bit of what the coroner, what their kind of findings were?
So the coroner, he ruled it as a homicide, and the cause of death was listed as blunt force trauma, and that is quite obvious from the scene. It was a very violent, very physical encounter, and the evidence speaks to the coroner's findings.
Was he identifiable, or was the damage too severe? Where
No, we were able to identify him from his personal identification card
Okay.
that was on his person.
And could you tell us a little bit about kind of how you guys are working with the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office in regards to this investigation?
Sure. As a result of the investigation, after we identified him as a resident of Baton Rouge, we notified the appropriate authorities there. So our death scene, we have no crime of origin, the scene of the homicide. So first place that we start is his last known resident that was on his driver's license. And so we notified the law enforcement agency of that jurisdiction, went to his last known residence, and followed up there. And there was no any indication of a crime that would have occurred there. So we did identify also from his identification a vehicle that was registered to him. That vehicle was put into NCIC, and so that's where we're at as of yesterday. And actually, literally just minutes ago, as I understand it, and I don't have any details, but it's my understanding that that vehicle was located, but I've yet to confirm it. But
And that is the same vehicle that was registered to him, right?
that's my understanding.
Okay.
That's the only vehicle that we were looking for that we know of, is the vehicle that was registered to our deceased.
Do you have any information about the vehicle? Was it damaged? Was it wrecked? Was it found abandoned?
Yeah, I don't have any information. I was literally just notified that they did locate the vehicle. So I'm as anxious as you are to find out the details.
Okay, because we had heard essentially that they had located that vehicle sometime last night, this is just from a source.
Mhm.
EBR. They pursued that vehicle. The person hit a
Yeah.
couple parked cars, got out, fled from sheriff's deputies, and he's still, um, on the lam, I guess.
Yeah, the information that I have as of last night, they were running down license plate recognition cameras from around the area and searching the database of the license plate recognition cameras uh, from here to Baton Rouge for that for the vehicle of the deceased. And
Okay.
so, not as of last night, as far as I'm aware, that vehicle wasn't located.
Okay.
And my understanding, it was just located here this afternoon.
Okay, that's the one you went out to, right? Okay, okay. So yeah, okay. So did they say what time it was found? Yeah, so it was okay. So it was found earlier this afternoon, then,
Yeah,
right?
by the
Okay,
time I was there, all police had
okay. All right, cool. Is there any thoughts on motive or anything like that?
Uh, no, I mean, at this point, anything that I would say would be speculative, and I don't want to put out any information that just to talk for the sake of talking. But I can tell you that we will follow this case where the evidence leads us. Obviously, we know we look at victimology, we look at every piece of the puzzle to try to determine who did this, why they did this. But at this point, we're in the very early stages. Hopefully we can bring this to a conclusion. We get this, if we do have this vehicle, we get it processed. That's more evidence that we can collect. Then and hopefully this thing will start coming together, and we can hopefully identify a suspect or suspects, and bring some closure to this. And throughout it, like I said, we still have to identify the exact location of this homicide scene.
Okay. Um, do deputies think the homicide may have happened where the body was found? Do they think maybe the homicide happened and he was relocated to that kind of rural area and then wrapped up?
Uh, there again, it's speculation, but I would surmise that he was probably killed elsewhere, and he was simply discarded at that location.
Okay. And have you guys looked into any, I don't know, claims of retaliation in regards to that case that he has on the record from, I want to say, 2015?
Well, every option is open, and we're casting a broad net. But there again, we're going to follow the evidence where the evidence leads us in this case, and so wherever that may be, that's the route that we're going to take. But we're cognizant of the big picture here.
Okay. And where the body was located on Highway 51, is that like the low road, like past Man Shack and stuff like that?
Well, that's a lot further north. Generally,
Right.
the low roads refer to the old road at Man Shack, but yeah, that's where it begins down by Man Shack. But
Okay.
obviously, this is on the north end of the parish.
Is that like near where the actual exit ramp from the interstate goes into Ponchatoula right there? Kind of the low road kind of converges.
That's what's called the low road
Okay.
locally, and
Okay.
so way north of there, north of I-12,
Okay.
north of A Meat.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
we're way
Way
on the
north.
north end of Parish, and
Okay.
so it's closer to the state line at Osaka, Mississippi, than it is to Manchac.
Okay. I
It's a
see.
very remote area of the parish, very rural, and there's some houses in the vicinity, but those houses are behind a wood line, and they're not even visible from the highway.
And did the person who actually called about the tarp, did they maybe, I don't know, reveal anything that could be pertinent, or did they just kind of a good Samaritan who drove by it?
Well, that was, yeah, I mean, this is just a person that reported it. We have no reason to believe that that individual was involved in this.
Okay, perfect. And did you yourself get out to the scene to could you talk a little bit about kind of what your thoughts were when you kind of I mean, the kind of heinous nature of this crime? Could you just kind of talk about that?
Sure. No, look, I went out there. I did not enter the crime scene. I stayed on the outside of the tape. However, I went, checked in with the lead detective that was there, and I thank state police for their assistance. The coroner's office was there standing by, and so my job as a leader of this organization was just to make sure that my men and women had the tools that they need and the assets that they needed to do their job. It was. like I said, like I described earlier, it's a very remote area, and it was just off, just off the ditch on Highway 51. It's a two-lane highway with improved shoulder, and as soon as the ditch goes down, that's where the body of our deceased victim was discarded.
Now, I know the coroner's office had said blunt force trauma. Did they offer a potential weapon that was used? Did they surmise anything like that in regards to, yeah, I don't know, a baseball bat or
Yeah,
a
they
club of
have.
some
Yeah,
kind?
they have not, and I have not seen anything other than it was obvious that it was quite violent and physical.
Okay, good. And just kind of lastly, could you just talk a little bit about just how closely you guys are working with the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office? Are they going to take the lead? Is this going to primarily stay, under your office's kind of jurisdiction?
Well, I think until proven otherwise, Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office will take the lead. We have the scene, we have the body, we have the bulk of the investigation. However, we are keeping an open line of communication with our law enforcement partners, and whether it's somewhere else inside of Tangipahoa Parish or outside, that's what our main goal here right now ultimately is to locate, if possible, the scene where this homicide took place, and then to identify the subjects responsible. And one may come before the other, but we are exercising every available option at our disposal to work this case as ours.
Okay, perfect. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Just anything at all?
Well, I'd like to thank the media, and our citizens for their vested interest in this. And we just ask anyone, if you have any information that's helpful to this case, whether you know our victim, anything at all you think may be helpful, please call Crime Stoppers, or you can call the Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office directly, and we would be glad to take that information and process it accordingly.